Now here we have just what I just said. The i5 right there is just the basic what they recommend. Now look at this. They come down here. They say the i9, and then they say 16 gigs or higher. Like I told you, 32, 64, 128. You can't miss. You could do 256, but that's over dramatized. Now see, this one says 4 gigs or 14 core GPU or higher. But like I'm telling you, what it is, what it is, what it is. YouTube, you know what it is. It's your boy the Moose Squad. Let's kick it.
Body jumping off wild like a zoo. Doors bust open, yeah, it's coming through. Who's on the loose, sipping on that brew. Folks got it quick, they ain't got a clue.
All right, guys, I got something really, really good for you. I'm gonna step aside from this. I was reading somewhere where a gentleman just let me show you what he said. Okay, so I'm going to show you. We're going to share a sound. Okay, now I'm not going to share any sound with you, but let's go ahead and get into this topic so you know where I'm going with this topic. This is a really good topic. It's very important. Okay, so here is the topic. Serato, this is a while back. This is last year. Released stems. And a lot of people don't understand that Serato has a base. Okay, let me show you. Okay, Serato has specs. Okay, we're going to look at it. So the products, let's go to Project Serato Project. Okay, and then it's going to say the software. Okay, it's going to be stems. It's mind blowing. Stems is mind blowing. Is it here that it's not going to tell me? Okay, so here's the pro features, and it gives you your pro features. I'm looking for this. I don't know where it is. Hold on. You know what? Let's start a free trial. It should go in here and tell you what you need. Okay, so this is going to tell me. Okay, here we go. This is going to tell me the map. Oh, this is going to tell me the specs, and we're going to break down the specs. Okay, so you need to have 15 gigs of space of storage. Now, it says 15. You don't want just to have, let's say you just have a computer with 15 gigs. No comprehend. No. You need to at least have 200 gigs when it comes to storage. That way you have your capacity of your hard drive. Okay. Your capacity of your hard drive, you need to make sure that it has a balance. So what you're going to do is not want to overload your hard drive. Okay. That's one. You don't want to overload your hard drive. Recommendation, put all your music on a mobile, a different drive. Do not put Serato with where you put your music at. Me, I have this. It's a 4 terabyte. I got plenty of space for music, and whatever I want to put on there, on my files and everything goes on there. Sorry, I clicked. Okay, now, right here, it says the recommended memory, this is your RAM, random access memory, is at 8 gigs. All right. This, you're barely operating this at 8 gigs. You need to make sure that your computer is flowing smoothly. You're going to want to do 32 to 64 gigs of RAM, of RAM. Trust me on that when I say this. You're going to have at least 32 to 64 gigs of RAM in your computer to actually get this to work smoothly that's what you're going to recommend. Now, they recommend here this i5 or this processor. Now, like I said, I recommend that you get the six. Get now. This is going off the system that my recommendation is always to go one step higher from what you're doing. In order for your computer to work smoothly, you need to make sure that it's amped up. Now, a lot of people, we're going to get into that in a second. Just bear with me. Okay, so your video memory is 512 megabytes shared and dedicated 1 gig or higher Serato video. Now, I'm going to tell you something. The Serato video changes everything. So you're definitely, if you're going to run Serato video, you're going to want to have this at 64 gigs anyway, or maybe 128. Actually, I would, if I were going to do videos and I was going to run videos, I would want my beefed up laptop to at least do 128 gigs of memory if I was going to do this. That way because the processor is going to process as fast as it can, but to access the memory quickly, you need to have a faster and robust. Now a lot of people are going to say this, I got to cool it down, and we're going to talk about that in another episode. We're not talking about cooling down anything. Okay. So now that's the Windows. Let's check out Mac. Okay. So here is recommended that you have to have a laptop, a Mac, 217, 2017 or later, with the Intel Core i5 or the M1, M2 or higher. Now, like I said before, you're going to want to go to, I don't know the processors in Mac, so I really can't help you on that one, but I am going to tell you that you should at least have this or higher. I don't know what the processors are in Mac. I do know, and I could tell you all about Windows, but I'm not going on that direction right now. And like I said here in the memory, the same deal. I know Macs are beefed up and everything else, but this is the same deal here. Okay. And we're going to get into storage in a second. So the 8 gigs, it needs to be 32 or 64. And then it jumps to 128. So anywhere between those three, I recommend, especially if you're doing, if you're using it for videos, I recommend 128 gigs of memory. Trust me, cannot fail with that. You cannot fail. It's a must. I mean, you're beefing your computer. That's what you need to do. I don't do all this stuff, so I don't have all this process. I'm just explaining what I would do if I was doing that. Now, it says right here that you need 15 gigs or more disk space. Like I said before, this is Apple. So Apple is going to cost a lot to get bigger disk space. So what I'm going to recommend is, like I said before, getting an external hard drive and having that and putting all your music, everything on it, on that external hard drive, and that's it. End of discussion on that. So that gives this, and it says right here, this is the high performance specifications. So basically, like I said, see, now here we have just what I just said. The i5 right there is just the basic what they recommend. Now look at this. They come down here, they say the i9. And then they say 16 gigs or higher. Like I told you, 32, 64, 128, you can't miss. You could do 256, but that's over dramatized. Now, see, this one says 4 gigs or 14 core GPU or higher. But like I'm telling you, man, I'm telling you, I'm telling you, beef up, beef up. Don't beef down. Don't just get specced or overspecced. And then right here, the different operating systems that you could use for this. I don't know. I don't know. I couldn't go into that. But I wanted to talk about that because of that little thing that I read here. Now, listen to what he says, okay? So he says, I've been on the beta for the last bit, and the performance bump is sometimes less CPUs faster, loading time mountain. There's also a bump in the algorithm and yada yada. Also, Virtual DJ wants you to do comparison. Okay, I'm going to do a comparison for this gentleman, but I bet you already seen this stuff. But because this is posted 1 year ago, and it said added support for the DJFLX10 stems algorithm update, other changes. Okay, so release pad mode with stems is supported on the Roland DJ 707M. Okay, bugs fixed the crash and occurred one track of the eject from the decks. Okay, we're not worried about that. I just wanted to tell you that. Okay, so you want to make sure that you have your beefed up laptop. I don't care what you're running. That's not my business. But as a professional DJ, we need to make sure that our laptops are beef, that are beef. I know what y'all saying. And I know the comic keyboard commandos are going to let it happen. Go ahead and say what you got to say. I built my first computer back in the dinosaur days. I got to say dinosaur days. When we were still using DOS. Now y'all have it made, y'all have OS. Y'all don't have to use DOS. Let me show you what DOS is real quick. Let me give you an example of what DOS looks like. If y'all don't know what DOS looks like, stick around. We're about to show you. Y'all ready for this? Let me move this out the way. It's in the way. Y'all ready for DOS? Show you. This is what DOS looked like. When you turned on your computer, this is what you got. I am not kidding. It would boot up and do the boot sequence. This is what you would get in your computer. There is no Xing out of it to get onto the OS. Matter of fact, when 3.1 came out, you actually had to go to here to tell it to go to the operating system. They didn't make the drivers until a little later. Windows 95 changed everything. Actually, Windows 3.1. When Windows 3.1 came out, they noticed that it was a lot easier to manipulate, to add, to do what you're doing today on your computer. But remember, we were still in megabytes. What is a terabyte? Terabytes weren't even around. We were doing the floppy disk, to tell you the truth, the floppy disk was 512, and that was it. 120. Hold on. I just thought about that. I'll show you what a floppy looked like real quick. I don't have one. So now there's the two kinds of floppies. There's the old school floppy and the new school flop. Let's see the 3.1 FLOPPY. Okay, but the Windows 3.1 floppy disk. This is what it looked like. These are floppy. These are floppy disks. Okay, these are floppies. As you can see, this has Um, 12 megabytes. 12 megabytes. Now, each one of these, it says there's 7 floppy disk versions of 3.1. This is how you got your operating system. You had to put and install this on your computer first. After you installed it, it was there. You had to install each one, disk 1, disk 2, disk 3, disk 4, disk 5, disk 6. Then after that, you can run the original 3.1. And then these came out later. These came out later. These are older floppies. These are the hard floppies. These came out later. Now these ones were they were, I'm trying to look at the, I'm looking for the, I'm looking for the, it usually says what it is. Hold on. Let's see if this does it. Let's see if it says it. 1.44 floppy disk. So it had 1.44 megabytes on that, on the hard floppy. And then um, the trust me, CDs were around then, but you weren't finding the in the computer. What did I get? Oh yeah, stop share. I turned myself off. So you see the deal. Okay, so that's the deal. I'm sorry this is a long one, but it had to be this way because I wanted to answer that question. Because for the next video that I'm about to shoot, we're going to talk about Serato stems and virtual DJ stems. And this is going to answer those questions about why are my stems slow and acting retarded. That's why. You need to beef your computer up. If you're running stems, you should have overabundant specs. That way, when you're at a gig, I know you're sitting at home or you're doing something, you're in the garage or you're farting around with your trying to set your stuff. Everything's cool until you get the pressure put on you when you're in the back seat and the pressure's so high. It's like you're having a backseat driver tell you what to do, and you make a lot of mistakes. It's like when y'all seen that movie License to Drive? The girl gets in the car with somebody and it's easy peasy Japanese. The boy gets in the car. His instructor, they're twins. His instructor gets in the car. I think it's not Carl Winslow, but it kind of reminds me of Carl Winslow. If that kind of guy gets in the car, and Carl Winslow wasn't around by then, but he gets in the car. He has this small cup of coffee from 7-Eleven, and he sets it on the dashboard. No cap. I'm not talking about no cap, no lid, not no cap, no lid. And he says if you spill one drop of this coffee, you fail. That's it. But you ever see the movie? He's actually in the parking lot and something happens and he stops real quick. The coffee comes flying back at him and he goes, "You're lucky. There's no coffee." But he failed the written test. But you got to see the movie. You got to see the movie. License to Drive. It's an 80s flick, but it's too funny. It's too funny. But anyways, I'd hope this video helps. Now, usually when you're dealing with computer people, you're going to hear them keyboard commandos clicking away. Why they would just go ahead and why are you buying Windows? Well, I'm going to tell you why I buy Windows. Because I've been buying Windows since 1980s. Well, actually 1990. My first computer I bought in 1998. No, I take that back. I bought my first computer in 2000. Yeah, I bought my first computer in 2000. I paid $100 for it. Yep, for a computer. Now the thing was, it it basically ran Windows 95. That's how I started. And there's reasons behind it. If y'all know, you'll know. And I'll tell you in another video. If you want to know why I would run Windows 98 and Windows 95 and not Windows 2000 Millennial, you'll understand. So leave a comment below and go ahead, and y'all know what to do. Oh man, I hope you enjoyed this video. Go ahead and leave a comment below. Go ahead and share this video. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and ring that trusty bell for more notifications for videos like this and countless others. Smash that like button and check out one of these videos right down here. And deuces, baby.